will lead the quarterback play for the Storm. Of course, last year it was Alec Lewis, but this year, redshirt junior Brady Clark comes over. He is a transfer from Eastern Kentucky. He stands 6'4", 210, so he's got some good size to him. And we will see if he can lead the Storm to a couple more victories this season. And it looks like right off of the gate, he will start out with the ball as Ferris State will punt it away. And we'll see who is back deep to return here for Lake Erie. Punting it for Ferris State is Mitch Middleton. He is a senior from Middleville, Ohio. Or excuse me, Middleville. And he will punt it deep to, looks like Ali Lee Jr. is back there. And we will get this one going here on a crisp, almost fall Saturday afternoon. It's about 65 degrees, partly cloudy skies, perfect day for football. And the last couple weeks here in Northeast Ohio, it has started to feel like football weather. And we have a return here. He takes it from the 5, crosses the 15, goes to the 20, and he is brought down at about the 23. And I believe that was number 23 on the return. That was Curtis Thomas. Curtis Thomas is a redshirt sophomore. Local kid from Cleveland, Ohio. East Lake North was his high school. And right away, we have the Storm taking over on offense. We hope the offensive line should be a little bit better this year. And the quarterback is Brady Clark. He will start out in the shotgun right at about his own, call it 16-yard line. Devin Morgan in motion. Clark claps his hands, takes the snap, and the first snap of the Storm season goes to a handoff to Nick Mosley, and Mosley trying to look for some space, and he cannot find any as he is bottled up there. It looked like on the stop was number 99 for Ferris State. Marquis Jones, the junior, stands 6'2", almost 300 pounds from Detroit, Michigan, and we have a whistle, and we'll see. It looked like offside on the defense, but we'll see. Maybe somebody jumped on the Storm side. The Storm, they're moving up like it's on Ferris State. And it was on Ferris State. So for Lake Erie, they're looking to improve on their 2-9 season. Last year, they averaged about 230 passing yards a game, 64 rushing yards. They're looking to improve on that run game a little bit. And Brady Clark is in an empty set here. 3 receivers split out to his right, 2 to his left. Ali Lee Jr., Keyshawn Johnson, among those that highlight the receiving room for this Storm offense. Clark, quick pass, and that is behind and almost intercepted. His intended receiver, Keyshawn Johnson, was the target. And right there, almost getting it to go, I believe was Cy Madison on the coverage. But man, that was a ill-advised throw there from Clark. But that's, again, with a new quarterback. Of course, like I said, Clark coming in from Eastern Michigan, he didn't play for 3 seasons, but he's just got to gain some chemistry with his new receivers. And in the early season, you expect to see things like that. And this was supposed to be, it looked like a design screenplay, but it got absolutely blown up as Caleb Davis came blasting into the backfield.
Brady Clark on the keeper, brought down by Khalid Davis.
And that was a 3rd down play there, so 4th and long there for Lake Erie. So just a broken down play and not much going, so a 3-and-out first for the Storm, and catching it right about midfield on the return is Ferris State, and out-trots that Ferris State offense, but last year they were just so dominant. Like I said, they had 14 straight wins, and now it's traveling into this season, as it is now 15 wins as they won against Pittsburgh State. And so they take over, and that is where Wyatt Bauer, the redshirt freshman, takes over for this Bulldogs offense. Wyatt Bauer, he had 214 completions and almost 4,000 career passing yards in high school as a senior. He also tossed 45 touchdowns. That is, and those are all school records for his high school there in Corunna, Michigan.
1st and 10, Ferris State from the 28.
So after a penalty, 1st and 10, Ferris State from the 28. So they're already deep into Storm territory, and you want to talk about a test right for this Storm defense. Right there, though, number 22, Brady Rose, one of the offensive weapons for the Bulldogs, is met immediately by Joshua Kababka.
Joshua Kabaka was in on the stop for the Storm.
So Kabaka gets the stop there, and this is a very, very young Lake Erie College defense. They do not have a lot of upperclassmen pieces. They have one or two seniors starting. The rest are freshmen and sophomores. And on the keeper, Wyatt Bauer goes to about the 15-yard line. And so we have a 0-0 score here in Painesville. First possession for the Storm was a 3-and-out.
Bauer on the keeper.
If those passing numbers I mentioned earlier for Bauer weren't enough in high school, how about he had almost 3,000 rushing yards in high school as a quarterback? So definitely likes to run with his feet, as well as right on cue, he takes off, crosses the 15, and gets shoved out of bounds there, right about the 12-yard line. Chasing him out of bounds was Bryant Mitchell. Bryant Mitchell is one of those exciting freshman defensive backs. He is a local product, former Red Raider of Shaker Heights.
Bring up a 2nd down and about 5 for the Bulldogs.
So 2nd down and 5 here for Ferris State, and you kind of expected this right off the bat. Ferris State would be marching down the field. Again, the Storm just kind of have to buckle down here and bend but don't break inside the red zone. It is a keeper for Bauer, and Bauer gets swallowed up by a couple of green jerseys. And did the ball come out? They're saying the ball came out. Lake Erie is waiting for a signal, and it looks like he was down. There was a couple of green jerseys that were convinced that ball had popped out of the arms of Wyatt Bauer, but it will remain Ferris State ball. I believe Brian Mitchell was on that tackle, among other green jerseys. Bauer on the keeper. He had a good fake there, and he gets all the way down to the 1. Coming across the formation, that was Tariq Brett. And Brett, the senior, came across on the fake, and Bauer on the keeper already has a good handful of rushing yards. You want to talk about a rushing quarterback? How about last season in the championship year for Ferris State? That was Trinidad Chambliss, and we'll talk about him throughout the broadcast, but his numbers are just incredibly hard to ignore when you're talking about this Ferris State team. And we have a flag on the play. We have a false start is the signal. So that'll back up Ferris State up 5. But it was a pretty balanced attack last week for Ferris State. They had 331 yards total, 200 rushing, and about 131 yards passing, I should say. And we have another stop here, as in on that tackle was Debonair Brown. Brown's helmet popped off, so he's going to have to come out of play. And Bauer now has to work. I believe it's 3rd and goal. The scoreboard is not displaying the down. And here is a fumble on the play. Bauer, it's still loose. It is picked up, and he is going to take it the distance. He's at the 25, 20, 15, 10, 5 touchdown. And how about that for Lake Erie? That is Brian Mitchell.
For a touchdown for the Storm.
Unbelievable. Maybe that's exactly what you need if you're Lake Erie College. To get a turnover like that, Bauer mishandled the fake handoff, and Brian Mitchell took advantage to scoop and score, and Bauer tried to get it back. He couldn't, and just like that, the Storm are up 6-0. Incredible start for that defense. We talk about as that was blocked and is no good. So score will remain 6-0. We talk about the youth in that defense for Lake Erie, and once again, they do better than bend and don't break. They take it to the house and get the game's first points on the board. So 6-0 is the score. Storm with the early lead. We'll be right back on FloCollege. So the Storm now up 6-0. Brian Papish on the call with you this Saturday afternoon. And what an electric start for that Storm defense. And this is returned here right at the 10 by number 10, and he is hit immediately. That is Tariq Brett. And that is where Ferris State will take over at about the 26. So it was a good drive leading up to that, and Ferris State got all the way down to the Storm's 4-yard line, and Wyatt Bauer just fumbled. It looks like he was either trying to hand it off or keep it. Hard to tell in the moment what the intentions of that play were, but
Tariq Brett was on the return.
So let's get another turnover. If you're Lake Erie Storm, build off of what you just did. This is the Ferris State offense we're talking about, the D2 national champions last year. And that is a incomplete pass there. That was a quick snap throw intended for, I believe that was Brady Rose over there on the far side.
Pass intended for Rose, incomplete. Brings up second down and 10.
So 2nd and 10 as we just crossed the 10-minute mark here in this first quarter. And I said before the timeout, what a way to start off the season for that Storm defense. And a quick handoff there goes to the running back there. I believe it will be Zach Hearn, the junior from Rockford, and it was. Their style of play is very interesting. Talking about Ferris State, they have a lot of guys that are very, very dynamic and like Swiss Army knives. And bouncing it to the outside is Bauer. And Bauer gets upfield, crosses about the 45-yard line. That's what I'm saying. Like Bauer and Rose, specifically those two guys, they can do a lot of things for you. And you talk about the weapons and the skill positions for Ferris State. Guys like Cam Underwood and guys like Brady Rose. And then, of course, talking about Bauer. They just did a lot of things in high school. They either rushed the ball and threw the ball or, were good receivers as well. They did a lot of things offensively. And so you could see, and wide open down the sideline goes the receiver. That is number 7. I believe that was the running back, Hearn. All the way deep into Storm territory.
Kevin Air Brown in on the stop for the Storm.
And they are at the 15. So right away, quick, resilient offense here for the Bulldogs. That was a massive, massive gain. And here's Bauer. He hands it off. This time it doesn't go anywhere. Connor Hobson, the sophomore, in on the stop for Lake Erie. Trying to get a number on that running back. Yeah, it was Cavell Cooper, the redshirt freshman from Orlando. And we have a timeout by Lake Erie College, I believe I heard the official say. So we'll step aside as well. 6-0. The Bulldogs are driving. We'll be right back on FloCollege. All right, getting ready to start back up here as Ern had a 41-yard reception. That's really how Ferris State got into Storm territory, and hitting the edge of the end zone and getting in for the touchdown will be Zach Ern. So really, that was all Ern on that possession for Ferris State, and that's exactly what good teams do. They have a short memory on, that Bauer fumble, and now the Bulldogs have an opportunity to take the lead here by 1 point, as the kicker will be Mitch Middleton, and that is up and good. So
is good.
So at 8:07 mark in this first quarter, Ferris State has a 7-6 lead. So let's see how the Storm offense can respond. And leading this Ferris State team, we will talk about Trinidad Chambliss later, but leading this team is Tony Anesi, and he has been at Ferris State since 2012, so he has had a 13 seasons at the helm for the Bulldogs, and he has just been an incredible presence for them. He is 138-21 overall. That is his record. He has 21 losses in his 13 seasons at Ferris State. That's incredible. And so you can obviously see why Ferris State is keeping him around for as long as they have. Not to mention, of course, he has 3 national championships. They've all came relatively recently too. Their first one was in 2021, next one was in 2022, and the last one was in 2024 when they knocked off Valdosta State. And he has a 24-7 playoff record in NCAA Division II playoffs. So his Bulldogs have the lead here, and we have a touchback, so the ball will come out. And so this Ferris State team, they were ranked preseason number 1 nationally by the AFCA. They did lose some key All-Americans, though. They lost, obviously, Chambliss. They had a really good linebacker and a lot of good linemen that they lost. A couple of them transferred to D1. And in this matchup specifically, Ferris State has just been dominant against the Storm. They're having an 8-0 record, but the Storm, of course, trying to change that here today. So the Storm start out at the 25. Once again, it is Brady Clark in shotgun. He claps his hands, gives it to Mosley. Mosley cuts to his left, and he is upended and tackled. Originally there was Madison on the stop. So gain of about, I'd say, a half yard to a yard. So 2nd down and 9. You can see Madison, though. He's kind of jumps off the page when you watch him. He's kind of sneaky good athletic, and when he plays far from behind the line of scrimmage, but he can sneak up and, just like you saw there, really close quickly on the ball carrier. And so here we go. Here's a pass for Clark. He stands in the pocket, and that one was tipped and incomplete, as the intended target was Devin Morgan. Devin Morgan is the 6'3" junior from Toledo, Ohio. He took a back seat to a couple tight ends last year, and head coach David Price of the Storm are looking for big things out of Morgan in his junior season. We'll see if a couple of quick short passes here to open the game for Lake Erie. We'll see if Clark can just get one of these completed. Talk about guys like Ali Lee Jr. and Keyshawn Johnson. Both those guys are super dependable targets. Just got to get the ball to them. And Clark, that play breaks down, and Clark is chased down and taken down from behind by, I believe that's Nolan Ziegler.
Clark on the keeper. Brought down by Nolan Ziegler.
So Ziegler on the stop, and that will once again be another 3-and-out for the Storm.
William Allen Batten, the fourth in the punt for the Storm.
Last year for Ferris State, they were obviously they were a good team altogether. They were 14-1, but defensively they were pretty good. They allowed just under around 16 points per game, which was good for top 10 nationally. And they averaged about 45 points per contest. And so the Storm will punt the ball away here. William Allen Patan gets it away, and it is a booming kick, a really good kick, and it takes a Storm bounce. And originally, I think Anthony Anderson, who eventually ends up downing it at the 5, so deep in Ferris State territory, I think he thought that the returner there for the Bulldogs was just going to catch it, and then it went right behind the returner, which was Brady Rose. So first and 10, Ferris State at their own 6-yard line. So once again, the Storm defense has Ferris State in a awkward position here, but we'll see if they can get out of this. As Bauer fakes the handoff, and Bauer crosses the 10, far side to about the 12, and he is chased out of bounds by a couple of green jerseys. Offensively, the Bulldogs were dominant. Like I said, last season they averaged almost 500 yards a game. That is pretty incredible. They averaged about 263 rushing yards a game and a little over 200 yards passing per game as well. So they were a really rush-heavy team, or when they did rush, they had monumental success. Bauer in his own end zone, gets out of trouble. Now he will scramble to his left, crosses the 25, and gets up to about the, we'll see where they mark it, but gets up about the 26. It looks like Bauer is just, when he takes off, it just looks like he's kind of just jogging there.
Bauer on the keeper. So now for a first down, Ferris State.
I should note, it is pretty breezy out. So we'll see when, if anyone attempts a field goal, the breeze is pretty noticeable here at Jack Britt Memorial Stadium here in Painesville. Once again in the shotgun, here's Bauer. Man in motion. Bauer hands it off. This is number 10, getting about 5 yards. That is Brett on the carry. Brett's a junior, 5'8", 175 pounds. So, like I said, it's just a lot of gadget players for these Ferris State Bulldogs. He's listed as a slot receiver. He's from Jonesboro, Georgia. Specifically, Brett had 80 career receptions and had 16 touchdowns in high school at Mount Zion. He takes it there for about 5 yards. Bauer drops back, finds his running back, who is swallowed up there. Good play by the Storm there. I believe, is that DeJuan Harris?
Bauer's pass to Hearn was complete.
for a, it was Harris.
It's third
So
down.
big third down here as that pass to Earn goes nowhere. Bauer on the keep. He floats it, and it's completed. Little bit high, but reaching up and making the play and catching it was Brady Rose. And
Bauer's pass complete
we have a timeout on the field.
to Rose.
So it will be first down and 10 when we come back. Ferris State has the ball, and they are driving as we have an injured player on the field.
NCAA Division II Community Engagement is an initiative at all 25 national championships because student athletes want to give back while competing for a national title. Over the course of the year, Division II student athletes have an opportunity to leave a lasting impression in local communities throughout the country. Whether Division II student athletes are volunteering at hospitals, schools, after-school care programs, foster homes, or retirement villages, they make a difference in the lives of others. In Division II, we rise to the opportunity and make community engagement ours.
All right, welcome back. 7-6 is the score. The injured player for the Storm was number 17, Chris Payne. And you just hate to see that. He can't put really any weight on his right ankle or right leg at the moment. So he is going to get checked out by the trainers. And right away here is Bauer. And Bauer has a miscommunication there with his receiver, who is number 10. That was Brett. Brett did like a little curl route there, a little dig route, and Bauer just threw it like as if Brett was going to continue to run his route. So 3:55 to go in this first quarter. 7-6 is the score. Ferris State holds the 1-point advantage. Bauer is 4 for 6 for 56 yards. He does have that fumble. Bauer, once again, a clean, empty pocket for him. He takes right up the middle, and he's got a seam. He crosses the 40 well into Storm territory. And Bauer, just see the speed and athleticism from the Bulldogs quarterback. And Bauer gets taken down right at the 35-yard line. Harris and Mitchell combine for the tackle there.
Ferris State at the Lake Erie 35-yard line.
So a fresh set of downs here for Ferris State. Like I said, well into Storm territory, and Bauer is flanked by Hearn, and he goes to Hearn, and Hearn was there for a moment. And on the coverage there, I believe for Lake Erie was DeJuan Harris.
For Hearn is incomplete. Brings up second down and 10.
So we'll see what the Ferris State offense does here on second down and 10. Bauer, once again, his receivers and him are just not communicating very well. And that has led to a couple incompletions here after a massive run of about 15, 20 yards by Bauer. The Bulldogs are kind of stagnant so far these last couple plays. Let's see what they draw up on 3rd and 10.
It's third down.
So Bauer is flanked by Brady Rose in the backfield. 4 receivers out wide, and we have a stoppage in play. And I believe Lake Erie just called their second timeout. They already used one earlier. They have their second now, and so they have one left remaining in the first half. So we'll take a break. 7-6 is the score. We'll be back on FloCollege.
NCAA Division II community engagement is an initiative at all 25 national championships because student athletes want to give back while competing for a national title. Over the course of the year, Division II student athletes have an opportunity to leave a lasting impression in local communities throughout the country. Whether Division II student athletes are volunteering at hospitals, schools, after-school care programs, foster homes, or retirement villages, they make a difference in the lives of others. In Division II, we rise to the opportunity and make community engagement ours.
All right, 3rd and 10 here. And let's see if the Storm can get a big stop. As the last couple plays have been miscommunications for that Ferris State offense. Couple incompletions by Bauer. Bauer's just going to keep it, and he's not going to go anywhere. As greeted immediately right there was Connor Hobson. Hobson's made a couple of good plays already in this first quarter. He makes another one there. Hobson wasn't the only one there. I believe also DeJuan Harris was in on the stop as well. So it's actually 4th down. The offense is staying on the field for the Bulldogs. We'll see if they actually snap it. They do. And we have a whistle, and Connor Hobson was screaming off the edge. And we have a false start on Ferris State. Boy, a couple of these mental lapses you wouldn't really expect to see from a team that is as well coached as Ferris State is. But they've had their fair share of lapses in this first quarter, and like I said, that's fuel to the fire to give a young defense like Lake Erie some confidence. So Ferris State again opts to leave the offense out on the field even after the false start penalty. Oh, and that's just a punt there. Looks like they were going for it, but that was a quick punt by Bauer. That you rarely ever see that. It'll be down at the 10. Bauer looked like he was going to be in shotgun formation. That's what I'm talking about. When I see stuff like that from Ferris State, it doesn't surprise me. They just do a lot of just not necessarily by the book things. They do a lot of things differently than other teams, and that was a perfect example there. So this first quarter now is wrapping up, 2:20 to go. And now's the time to get Brady Clark going. He is 0 for 2, and the offense just really hasn't had anything going. They have a combined 1 rushing yard. Right here is Mosley, and Mosley is going to get met in the backfield there. I believe Stanley Lambert was the
ball carrier, brought down by Stanley Lambert for Ferris State.
Tackler there.
2nd down and 12.
So 2nd and about 12 after that loss of 2. Clark in shotgun. In motion is Ali Lee Jr. And Lee Jr. briefly broke one. And Lee Jr. at his 5'10", 176-pound frame. He's easy to lose in between those big offensive linemen, and you kind of saw it there. Wasn't a big gain, but Lee Jr. able to at least get somewhat upfield.
Ali Lee Jr. brought down by Zach Kelly for...
Zach Kelly was the
brings up 3rd and 8.
Tackler there, as it's now 3rd and manageable, 3rd and 8 for Lake Erie, deep in their territory. It is Clark. He hands off, stiff arm, as Mosley delivered one, but Mosley is taken down at the 12, and another 3 and out for Lake Erie. Boy, Lake Erie is just struggling to get anything going. Run game's not working. Couple of quick passes not hitting the mark. Byers was in on the stop for the Bulldogs. So Batten the fourth will now punt from his end zone. Batten the fourth is a freshman from Forest Park, Of course, Jaffer Murphy was amongst the special teamers last year for Lake Erie. This is received at about midfield by Rose. Rose sheds a tackle, crosses the 40, and he is going to be out of bounds right at the 35. So out comes, once again, Ferris State's offense, led by Wyatt Bauer.
Rose, the return.
Last drive for Ferris State was a 7-play, 33-yard drive that resulted in a punt.
Turns it to the Lake Erie 37-yard line.
So I mentioned the Bulldogs had a player last year, none other than, I'm sure any Ferris State fan knows who this is, Trinidad Chambliss. He was absolutely spectacular. And actually, it was week 1 where the starting quarterback for Ferris State got hurt, and that was against Lake Erie College last year. So what happens? Trinidad Chambliss comes in, and he possibly has his best year yet, and that ball is batted down and incomplete. Chambliss had 2,925 yards, 26 touchdowns, and just 6 interceptions. And if those numbers weren't enough, so that's okay. But how about the rushing? Remarkably accounted for over 1,000 rushing yards and 25 rushing touchdowns. When I was doing my notes last night, I kept having to double check. Are we sure Chambliss rushed for 25 yards? So when you put up numbers like that, what happens? Well, you transfer to a D1 school named Ole Miss, and breaking through and lowering the boom was Zach Hearn. And on the stop there was number 22, Debonair Brown. And credit to Debonair Brown. He gets right up, and he has to come off the field as his helmet popped off.
First and 10, Ferris State.
So first and 10 for Ferris State. Bauer floats one deep, gets some separation, 1 foot in, and that is a touchdown. That is a beautiful throw by Wyatt Bauer as Tay Boyd with the touchdown. Tay Boyd is a sophomore wide receiver, 6'4". He was able to reach up, and boy, Wyatt Bauer with an excellent throw there, putting it where only Boyd could catch it. And just like that, the Bulldogs now hold a 13-6 lead pending this extra point, which is up and is good by Mitch Middleton. So
PAT attempt is good. That'll make the score Ferris State 14, your Lake Erie Storm
14-6 is the score as this first quarter is just about to wrap up. Finishing my point on Chambliss before that touchdown happened, he took over, like I said, as a primary quarterback after that season-ending injury, and he had one of his standout performances was a 6-touchdown passing game against Michigan Tech. And so he transferred to Ole Miss. I believe he is now the backup for the Rebels. But when you put up numbers like
NCAA Division II, community engagement is an initiative at all 25 national championships because student athletes want to give back while competing for a national title. Over the course of the year, Division II student athletes have an opportunity to leave a lasting impression in local communities throughout the country. Whether Division II student athletes are volunteering at hospitals, schools, after-school care programs, foster homes, or retirement villages, they make a difference in the lives of others. In Division II, we rise to the opportunity and make community engagement ours.
it was good for 20 yards, and obviously he was able to get that foot in. Like I said, that was just impressive play there by Bauer to Boyd. And now 14-6 is your score. So once again, kicking this one away will be Mitch Middleton. And back deep to return will be Ali Lee Jr. as that drive was a successful one for Ferris State. This is caught at the 2 by, that's number 20, that's Curtis Thomas on the return. Thomas gets up to about the 18 before being dropped there by Daviera Jones. A couple other Bulldogs in as well, Jenkins being one of them. So let's see if Lake Erie can get something going. They've had 3 straight drives, all 3 3-and-outs, each resulting in a punt. Just anything to get this Storm team going, any type of yardage. Is Brady Clark will get the snap. Clark drops back, has some time. He throws it deep, and he almost connects with his receiver, Mekhi Jackson. Jackson was midfield. That ball was a little underthrown by Brady Clark, but Jackson made a good job adjusting to it and coming back to the ball, and it was right in his lap, but he drops it, and that would have been the perfect opportunity to get it going if you're the Storm. So once again, we'll do it again, 2nd down and 10. Clark immediately feels the pressure. He is dropped there for a loss. On the stop there was number 44, Caleb Davis, 6'3", 300-pounder from Grand Rapids, Michigan. Of course, Ferris State north of Grand Rapids by a good amount. As we started the second quarter, by the way, the scoreboard is showing 14-22. I don't know if I mentioned that. It's Clark, once again, feels the pressure. He steps up. He will scramble. He will try and get the first down, and it'll be close. I think he got it, and he did. The chains will move. So Brady Clark gets it done there with his legs.
Clark on the keeper. That's a Lake Erie Storm. First down.
Last year, the Storm averaged about 5 yards per play. And we have a whistle and a timeout on the field. So a fresh set of downs for the Storm. When we come back, 14-6, Ferris State leads on FloCollege.
NCAA Division II community engagement is an initiative at all 25 national championships because student athletes want to give back while competing for a national title. Over the course of the year, Division II student athletes have an opportunity to leave a lasting impression in local communities throughout the country. Whether Division II student athletes are volunteering at hospitals, schools, after-school care programs, foster homes, or retirement villages, they make a difference in the lives of others. In Division II, we rise to the opportunity and make community engagement ours.
.05 to go in this first half. 14-6 is the score. 1st and 10. Lake Erie at their 30. Of course, the Storm are led by head coach David Price, which we will get into him after this play. Clark hands it off. Mosley runs up the middle, gets about 1 or 2. So head coach David Price has been at the helm for Lake Erie College since 2024. He spent 5 seasons prior to here at Tiffin, most recently as a defensive coordinator, but he was also an associate head coach, defensive line coach as well. Clark rolls to his right, fires, and that is intercepted. As picked off by number 22. That was Ashton Ware. Ware finally is stopped there.
Brady Clark's pass intercepted by Alston Ware.
So Alston Ware, the sophomore, picks off Clark. And once again, it just kind of looked like a little bit of a miscommunication by Lake Erie. The receiver for the Storm did not see who it was, just kind of kept going, and Clark underthrew him, and it ended up right in the lap of Ware. And Ferris State we gifted great field possession at the 14-yard line. Is that where Bauer will go to work? Rolls left, Bauer floats, and once again another incredible throw, as that was on the reception. Brett Brett doing a good job of just kind of adjusting to that as he was falling out of bounds. And among the players that forced him out, I believe, was Kabaka. So it's now 1st and goal for Ferris State, and they're looking to capitalize quickly off of that turnover. Bauer hands off, and walking in for the touchdown is Zach Earn. So 20-6 now in Ferris State. All it takes them is 2 plays, and they are in the end zone to extend that lead to 20-6 with 13 minutes to go here in this second quarter. So last couple of possessions, Wyatt Bauer has really made some really good throws. That extra point is up and good by Eddie Jewett. I might have said that was Mitch Middleton, but it was Jewett making the PAT there. So 21-6. The Bulldogs take advantage of the turnover, and we'll be right back on the FloCollege.
NCAA Division II community engagement is an initiative at all 25 national championships because student athletes want to give back while competing for a national title. Over the course of the year, Division II student athletes have an opportunity to leave a lasting impression in local communities throughout the country. Whether Division II student athletes are volunteering at hospitals, schools, after-school care programs, foster homes, or retirement villages, they make a difference in the lives of others. In Division II, we rise to the opportunity and make community engagement ours.
Welcome back as the Bulldogs will punt the ball away. Brian Papish on the call with you. A spectacular Saturday afternoon here in Painesville, Ohio. Like I said, especially recently, we've had fall-like temperatures, but it has been really nice. And this upcoming week it's supposed to be really nice as well. But here today, blue skies, partly cloudy. Couldn't ask for a better home opener if you're Lake Erie College. This ball is caught at the 10 and tripped up right there was Curtis Thomas. And Thomas was tripped up there by number 13. I believe that was Damari Jenkins there on the stop.
Thomas, the returner.
So a couple of DBs for this Ferris State team are returning from last year. Guys like Madison, Jones, and other guys like Rose, Underwood. But then they did lose a lot of guys as well. So the spring camp theme really has been a lot of youth development, staying healthy, and also competition, or I should say summer development. And the Ferris State team looks good here in the opener. Let's see if the Storm can answer, and Devin Morgan was the intended target there. He had to really kind of turn his back and adjust to that ball, and Clark's pass falls incomplete. So 2nd down and 10. I mentioned Clark during his senior year threw for almost 3,000 yards in high school, and he comes over from Eastern Kentucky. This is the product from Bardstown, Kentucky. Hands it off to Nick Mosley for a minimal gain. And once again, the offense for Lake Erie is just kind of sputtering. Clark is 1 for 6. And credit this Ferris State defense. They're really making life hard on them. And we have a whistle and a timeout on the field. So we'll step aside. 21-6. The Storm looking to make something happen here on 3rd down. We'll be back on FloCollege.
NCAA Division II community engagement is an initiative at all 25 national championships because student athletes want to give back while competing for a national title. Over the course of the year, Division II student athletes have an opportunity to leave a lasting impression in local communities throughout the country. Whether Division II student athletes are volunteering at hospitals, schools, after-school care programs, foster homes, or retirement villages, they make a difference in the lives of others. In Division II, we rise to the opportunity and make community engagement ours.
21-6 is the score. The Storm are looking to make something happen on offense. I know I sound like a broken record with that, but it's been all the first half. The Storm just have not been able to muster up anything. Let's see what they can do here. Clark trying to stay in the pocket. He lets it go. And given how Clark was throwing that ball, we're lucky Devin Morgan even remotely had a chance to catch that. And so Clark and the offense for Lake Erie will head off the field. So another 3 and out. Make Clark now 1 for 7 on the day for 4 yards. His only completion was to Ali Lee Jr. And so now Ferris State has a chance to add to this lead. As just getting that punt away, that will bounce at about the 48 and be picked up on the hop, and stepping out of bounds there was, I believe, Deion Small. He's either Small and Madison. Hard to tell which one was which. They're similar in size as well, and they're both number 1. And he stepped out right at about the 37-yard line. So far it has been other than that opening turnover by Ferris State, it's been a pretty good day for Bauer. He is 6 for 10, has a touchdown. Golker also threw a pass earlier, which I might have said was Bauer. But this is Bauer here. He is in the pocket, has all day, and down the seam, wide open. A complete miscommunication for the Storm defense is the receiver. That is Carson Golker. I believe on the reception. And that is a touchdown for Ferris State. As I mentioned, this Ferris State offense is very unique. Golker is listed on the travel roster as a quarterback, and he caught that pass for a touchdown. It's just guys that can do just anything and everything on that offense, and the Storm defense just completely miscommunicates, and Golker is found there for the touchdown. That was a 63-yard touchdown pass, Bauer to Golker, and it is 28-6. Well, 12 minutes to go in this first half, and we'll step aside for a quick timeout on the FloCollege.
NCAA Division II community engagement is an initiative at all 25 national championships because student athletes want to give back while competing for a national title. Over the course of the year, Division II student athletes have an opportunity to leave a lasting impression in local communities throughout the country. Whether Division II student athletes are volunteering at hospitals, schools, after-school care programs, foster homes, or retirement villages, they make a difference in the lives of others. In Division II, we rise to the opportunity and make community engagement ours.
(28-6) is your score. Brian Papish on the call with you. Appreciate you spending some of your Saturday afternoon with us. And in the first quarter, the Bulldogs put up 14 points, and we're barely into this second quarter. We're at 12:07 to be exact, and they have already matched their first quarter point totals. They have scored 14 in the second quarter. And receiving here is Curtis Thomas. Thomas finds a seam. He breaks it momentarily, is slowed down and taken down right at about the 45-yard line. He was taken down there by number 23, James Robinson. He was originally slowed down, I believe, by number 45, Mitchell Middleton. Boy, if Middleton didn't at least get a hand on him, he might have been gone there. So let's see what the Storm can do with good field position now into Bulldogs territory. And let's see Brady Clark and company go to work here, as here's Mosley. Mosley takes a handoff, cuts up field, and he gains a good chunk of yardage there. He was taken down there by Christian Kramer. But Mosley on the carry there. Cam Post on the stop as well. So a gain of 6, second down and 4. Clark once again hands it off, and Mosley puts his head down and gets a couple there. So Nick Mosley, he was really in a timeshare last season with Chris Riley Richardson, and so far the transfer from Bowling Green is getting a bulk of the carries in that Storm backfield. He has also, according to Lake Erie's website, he has added a couple pounds of weight. So he went to 200 to 208, and that's a pretty good jump for a running back. And we'll see if that'll help him here as he gets the ball, and he is quickly tackled there by, I believe that's Lico Johnson. It is a first down, however, for Lake Erie College, so a much needed first down, and I believe that's their first down of the game. And it comes when the Storm get pretty good starting field position, and let's see if they can continue to build off of it as they're at the 35-yard line of Ferris State. Once again, it is a handoff here as Mosley is dropped there. Number 33, Kramer, in on the tackle along with LeMan Cusa, I believe was the other player involved in that tackle. So clock ticks inside 10 minutes now. Again, Brady Clark is the redshirt junior, stands 6'4", 210 pounds. He is flanked by his running back, Nick Mosley. It's been a lot of Nick Mosley on this drive. And they go right back to him. Mosley catches it and is chopped down. Good anticipation and good read there by Ferris State. As that was Jalen Jones on the stop, the senior from Mattawan. So it's third down. There are 4 receivers split out wide. Mosley to the right of Clark. Closest to your screen is Rico Small. Clark has a clean pocket, and it goes through the hands of his intended target, Ali Lee Jr. And so those two, once again, can't get on the same page. And so at least the Storm were able to get a first down and somewhat move down the field, but it wasn't obviously nearly enough as the Storm are forced to punt. Of course, speaking of Ali Lee Jr., I'd be remiss not to mention last season when the home opener was a monumental one for the Storm. They only went 2-9 on the season, but that first win was an incredible memory that I'm sure Ali Lee Jr. will forever hold in his mind, as this is an end-over-end kick. It will bounce at about the 12, 13-yard line, now closer to the 10. It will be down at the 10. Finishing my point, Lee Jr. and Alec Lewis, the quarterback last season, connected for a 33-yard touchdown as time expired, and that was honestly one of the craziest games I've ever called, and it was incredible to see. So Ali Lee Jr., we know he has it in him to just kind of get going. We know he has the talent to get himself going, and it's just been kind of slow going for the Storm offense as a whole. But let's see what the Bulldogs here do down at the 10-yard line. Of course, the Bulldogs have mustered up 13 first downs here today as Bauer goes deep, and that is just off the fingertips of his intended target. That was, I believe, Deion Small.
Bauer's pass intended for Small is incomplete.
So Deion Small, the junior from Deerfield Beach, Florida, unable to hold that in one-handed, and so now 2nd down and 10. As a quick pitch here, as cutting his way upfield for about a gain of 6 or 7. Was number 5 there. That was Kevell Cooper. So Cooper gets upfield. And Cooper cuts it upfield, and he's got a hole. He crosses the 40, and he fumbles the ball. The ball is loose, and he is lucky that number 4, Tay Boyd, was paying attention as that ball was ripped away from behind. I couldn't tell who ripped it away, but Kabaka was one of the first Storm defenders there, I believe. So Boyd recovers, and Bauer goes quickly to work, and Bauer, broken coverage, leads to a touchdown as he will just jog into the end zone. That is Tay Boyd. So Tay Boyd, boy, where would the Ferris State offense be without Tay Boyd on the field those last 2 plays? The Storm defense just has another breakdown, and this one has gotten out of hand for Lake Erie, as that was first a 39-yard rush by Cooper, and then you had a 45-yard pass, Bauer to Boyd for the touchdown there. So in 2 plays, the Bulldogs go about 80 yards. So 7:37 to go, 35-6 is the score. Storm will look to get something going on offense when we will come back on FloCollege.
NCAA Division II, community engagement is an initiative at all 25 national championships because student athletes want to give back while competing for a national title. Over the course of the year, Division II student athletes have an opportunity to leave a lasting impression in local communities throughout the country. Whether Division II student athletes are volunteering at hospitals, schools, after-school care programs, foster homes, or retirement villages, they make a difference in the lives of others. In Division II, we rise to the opportunity and make community engagement ours.
So now Storm will take over after this kick. Welcome back, as that was a touchdown catch, I should say, by Boyd. Boyd has 2 touchdowns on the day. Those are his only 2 catches. He has 65 yards to boot as well. So this looks like that will be Ali Lee Jr. receiving it at the 18. Lee Jr. tries to juke out his defender, but he cannot. And so the Storm will take over right about the 20-yard line.
Ali Lee Jr. on the return.
So Lake Erie, last drive, they were able to get a first down, but nothing more than that, as they were forced to punt. Their only score came on a fumble recovery early in that first quarter on the first possession for Ferris State, and then the extra point was missed. That's what led the Storm to have 6 at the moment. 7:34 to go in the second quarter. Storm just have 2 first downs on the day. Clark in shotgun. He will drop back and find his receiver. There's a good completion for about 9 yards. Devin Morgan, the reception there. So, still second down. Looks like Morgan almost got the first down. But interesting schedule, I should mention, for Lake Erie. They start out the year with 4 home games in a row. You rarely see that. And here's Mosley. Mosley gets right at that first down marker. And we'll see if it moved the chains, and it does. It will be another first down.
Nick Mosley Mosley, the ball carrier for a Lake Erie Storm. First down.
So as I mentioned, Nick Mosley is a transfer from Bowling Green. Last season he was in a backfield committee. In high school he was pretty talented as well. He had back-to-back 1,500-yard rushing seasons, and you could see the Storm offensively are relying heavily on him, and down goes Clark as on the sack there. Hard to tell if it's number 6 or 8. It could be Johnson. Johnson on the stop, as well as Tyrone Fowler.
Brady Clark was brought down by Tyrone Fowler. Brings up second down for the Storm.
So Fowler among those getting the stop there, and it is second and long here for Lake Erie. 3 receivers split out wide, and that ball is intended for Keyshawn Johnson, but was batted away by the defensive back Ware. Boy, just so hard for Lake Erie to get anything going. 35-6 is the score. Storm trying to muster up a good play here. Let's see what they can do. Clark finds his receiver. That's Johnson. Johnson hurdles, and boy, if you're head coach David Price, I don't know if you want to see one of your top offensive weapons hurdling like that this early in the season. And it will be a 4th down, so the Storm will punt the ball away.
Clark's pass to Keyshawn Johnson was complete. Justin Payout was in on the stop. Brings up a 4th down. William Allen batting the 4th into punt.
So batting the 4th on to punt the ball away at his own 14-yard line. Gets it high, end over end. And he fumbled it, and it is picked up by number 81 of Lake Erie College. That was Andre Puente. And Puente was just there, right place at the right time, so we will not see that Ferris State offense. Instead, the defense will have to come back onto the field. The returner there for Ferris State, it was either Brett or Rose. One of those two could not haul it in, and that Ferris State defense is right back out on the field. And let's see if the Storm can get something going, as they have now good field position right at about the 33-yard line in Ferris State territory. So here's Clark. Clark takes a drop, has time, goes to Johnson. He has him, and he overthrows him. And Keyshawn Johnson, I'm sure, is frustrated about that one, as Clark just could not get it to him. So 2nd down and 10. But it's good to see Brady Clark kind of let that one rip a little bit. I feel like we've seen the offense of Lake Erie be pretty conservative, but it's good to see them kind of take a shot there downfield, even though it didn't connect. Mosley tries to escape his defender, but he is wrapped up, as right there was Iko Johnson.
Nick Mosley, the ball carrier.
I believe Zach Kelly was in on the stop as well for Ferris State. Zach Kelly, a redshirt freshman, went to Forest Hills Northern, makes the stop there, and it is 3rd down once again for the Storm. Clark kind of rolls to his right, and he's just going to have to throw it away. That was almost caught. Almost. As that was in the direction of Mekhi Jackson. But under heavy pressure, Clark was. And so now the Storm will punt the ball away again. Clark is just 5 for 15. He has that one interception. He has been sacked 4 times. As a team, the Storm are 2 for 9 on third down. They're actually leaving their offense out there on fourth down. Clark drops back. He has, I thought he had a receiver, but that is intercepted by Madison, and that is one of the leaders of this defense, and Madison is brought down by the quarterback, Clark. And that is just encapsulates the day for Lake Erie College. They try and make something happen on fourth down, but Clark unable to hit his receiver there, and so that is another turnover. And the second interception for Clark. Man in motion here, that is Golker. As a quick throw that is caught here, and he is taken down. Bowker connects with his receiver there. That was number 17, Dakari Neely, I believe, the redshirt freshman. So Bauer and offense moving quickly, and we have a jump ball here, and that is broken up there. The intended target couldn't bring that one in. I believe the intended target was Tariq Bauer, and good coverage there by the Storm. On the coverage was, let's see, I believe it was Debonair Brown. Sometimes it's hard to see the numbers from where we are. So second down now, or excuse me, third down. I believe that's Chase Carter at quarterback, and he throws and breaking free, and we'll see if he gets the end zone. He does. That is a touchdown by Neely. The redshirt freshman extends this lead for Ferris State. How about that? Chase Carter checks right into the game, throws his first pass, and it ends up being a touchdown. And he ends up extending that lead. That is the first throw for Carter, as I said. And it's 41-6 with a chance to make it 42-6 with this extra point, which is up and good. So that was a 28-yard touchdown pass. So 3:09 to go in the first half. 42-6 is the score. We'll be right back on FloCollege.
NCAA Division II community engagement is an initiative at all 25 national championships because student athletes want to give back while competing for a national title. Over the course of the year, Division II student athletes have an opportunity to leave a lasting impression in local communities throughout the country. Whether Division II student athletes are volunteering at hospitals, schools, after-school care programs, foster homes, or retirement villages, they make a difference in the lives of others. In Division II, we rise to the opportunity and make community engagement ours.
(42-6) is the score. Brian Papish on the call with you. So we are wrapping up this first half, and the Bulldogs have just poured it on in this second quarter. They have scored 28 unanswered in this second quarter, which makes it 42-6. And so you want to talk about a test right out of the gate for the Storm. How about nationally ranked and championship Ferris State come to town for your home opener. Lee Jr. is taken down at about the 25. So Lake Erie looking to once again move the ball down the field. Clark has had a really rough day. 5 for 16, 2 interceptions. He has been sacked 4 times. Mosley leads the team in receptions. He has 2. Devin Morgan, Johnson, and Lee Jr. each have a catch of their own. Clark, hands off. And right about the 31 goes Julian Means-Fluellen. And that is a name that, if you were watching the Storm last year, sounded a little bit familiar. I know I mentioned Riley Richardson and Mosley as being the basically bell cow backs in a committee. But Means-Fluellen, especially towards the end of the year, was able to get some work.
Julian Means-Fluellen was the ball carrier.
He had about 60 yards rushing.
Second down and 6 for the Storm.
Last year. That was a gain of 4, so second down and 6 for Lake Erie. Means-Fluellen will stay in the backfield. He switches to the right side of his quarterback, Clark. And Means-Fluellen gets it again, and he is wrapped up almost immediately by Madison. Madison is a 6-foot senior from Nashville, Tennessee. So the Tennessee native gets the stop there.
Julian Means-Fluellen, the ball carrier. Madison in on the stop. Say Lake Erie Storm, first down.
That was good enough to move the chains. So Means-Fluellen, 3 carries in a row, and he is getting some decent amount of yards there. And we have some pushing and shoving towards the end of that play.
Julian Means-Fluellen, the ball carrier. Sawyer Tenhap in on the stop.
Sawyer Tenhap in on the tackle. And we have a timeout on the field, so we'll step aside as well. 42-6.
NCAA Division II, community engagement is an initiative at all 25 national championships because student athletes want to give back while competing for a national title. Over the course of the year, Division II student athletes have an opportunity to leave a lasting impression in local communities throughout the country. Whether Division II student athletes are volunteering at hospitals, schools, after-school care programs, foster homes, or retirement villages, they make a difference in the lives of others. In Division II, we rise to the opportunity and make community engagement ours.
.202 to go. 42-6 is the score. Storm on offense here at about the 40-yard line. Second down for Lake Erie. Morgan in motion. Clark whips a pass to Morgan. Morgan catches it, and he is brought down at about the 42-yard line. He is taken down by Johnson. Boy, Lyco Johnson's been all over the field. Johnson has 5 total tackles, and he is right up there with Kramer in terms of defensively leading for Ferris State. There's a throw that is wide right of his intended target. Keyshawn Johnson was in the area. And that is 4th down now. 1:52 to go, 42-6. So we'll see if Ferris State wants to keep it going and score again before the half. I believe Ferris State has all 3 of their timeouts remaining. End over end kick. Rose back to receive, and Rose just letting it go and downing it at about the 14-yard line is Chris Payne. Good to see Payne back out there. He had that leg injury earlier in the game as he is staying out there defensively for Lake Erie.
Will be first and 10, Ferris State. From their own
I believe
13-yard
Wyatt
line.
Bauer still out there for the Bulldogs. He has had a really good day. 9 for 15, 206 yards, 3 touchdowns. Looking to add to it here as that ball was tipped but still caught. And we have a flag on the play, multiple flags. 3 or 4 came down at once. And so we'll sort this out. The ball was tipped at the line of scrimmage. We have a player down on the field as well. So the officials will sort this out. On the reception, I believe it was Deion Small that caught it. So I believe that was a penalty on Ferris State. Usually we have an official that announces the penalties, but that hasn't happened, and so the clock will run, and Ferris State will have the ball at the 8-yard line. And that is a incomplete pass there. In the area was Cam Underwood. On the coverage was Debonair Brown and also Brian Mitchell back there.
Bauer's pass intended for Underwood is incomplete, brings up a second down.
So second down, a minute 16 to go in this first half. Hearn will flank Bauer, and Hearn gets the ball. He crosses the 15 up to the 20, and he is chased down from behind by the Storm's number 51. That was Landon Drennan. Landon Drennan is one of those interesting players. He is a redshirt freshman from Plainfield, Indiana. He is the transfer from Purdue. And once again, they get penetration as Drennan was back there, but initially on the first hit, Jalen Joyce was also back there as well. So good penetration there that time by the Storm defensive front. That's something we haven't seen a lot of today, unfortunately, is the penetration for the Storm on both fronts of the ball. The offensive line, unfortunately, hasn't been able to get any lanes open for Mosley. And defensively for the Storm, the Bulldogs have just been kind of rushing the ball pretty efficiently overall. And we have a timeout on the field, 24 seconds. We'll see how the Bulldogs handle it.
NCAA Division II community engagement is an initiative at all 25 national championships because student athletes want to give back while competing for a national title. Over the course of the year, Division II student athletes have an opportunity to leave a lasting impression in local communities throughout the country. Whether Division II student athletes are volunteering at hospitals, schools, after-school care programs, foster homes, or retirement villages, they make a difference in the lives of others. In Division II, we rise to the opportunity and make community engagement ours.
Welcome back. So it is fourth down. And the ball is punted away. Low line drive kick is caught there to the 50, crossing midfield and to the 35. There is a flag on the play, and a couple guys are fighting. We have multiple flags, 3, 4 flags, as that was Kamari Ward. I was getting mixed up with a Ferris State player as well. Might have been Madison or Small. So the officials will sort it out. But if this is on the Storm, I mean, there's only 17 seconds left, but this is on the Storm. It would negate some pretty good field position. So those penalties offset. I believe there was a foul on each team. First there was a hold and then a personal foul. So now it's 42-6. Let's see where they place the ball, and it will be placed at about the 22 of Lake Erie. So 17 seconds. Let's see what they can do with this. See if they can get something going before the half. Clark is just 6 for 18. Morgan leads the team in receptions and yards. He has 2 receptions for 9 yards. So Means Fluellen will flank Clark. 4 receivers split out wide. Clark has some room. He will take off and run, heading towards the sideline, and he gets there. And he was shoved out right about the 20-yard line. 9 seconds now. So I don't think that was a design keeper, but Clark had to take off with it. So now 9 seconds.
Brings up second down and 8 for the Storm.
That was a gain of 2, so second down and 8 for Lake Erie. Clark stands at about the 25. Clark drops back, has a receiver, and misses him once again. Ali Lee Jr. and Clark cannot get on the same page. Good news is, though, that it only took 2 seconds off the clock. So it's third down and 8 now for Lake Erie. Looks like the Storm will still have about 4 receivers split out wide. Clark has a free man rushing him. He's able to escape him, and he just throws it out with 2 seconds left. So we'll see if the Storm either go for a field goal or try for the end zone again, and it looks like Clark is coming off the field. And it looks like it will be Enrique Olmos. It is not a 37-yarder for Olmos. He is the sophomore from Fort Myers, Florida, replaces Jaffer Murphy. And that kick is blocked, and the block, I believe, was number 42 in there. And that is how the first half will end. Jalen Jones on the block. So 42-6 is the score. Storm unable to get any points on that possession. And we'll come back for the second half in about 15 to 20 minutes on the FloCollege.
NCAA Division II community engagement is an initiative at all 25 national championships because student athletes want to give back while competing for a national title. Over the course of the year, Division II student athletes have an opportunity to leave a lasting impression in local communities throughout the country. Whether Division II student athletes are volunteering at hospitals, schools, after-school care programs, foster homes, or retirement villages, they make a difference in the lives of others. In Division II, we rise to the opportunity and make community engagement ours.
Welcome back as we get set to start the second half here at Jack Britt Memorial Stadium in Painesville. The Bulldogs of Ferris State have a commanding 42-6 lead over the host Lake Erie College Storm. And boy, summary of the first half, I mean, it's pretty much, unfortunately, as lopsided as the score. Bauer has really, for Ferris State, offensively taken off. He has a 241 QBR first off. He's 9 for 15, has 206 yards and 3 touchdowns. And Carter, on one of his pass attempts, he's 2 for 3. He has 32 yards and a touchdown. And so really it was just, once again, a balanced attack by Ferris State. They had 171 rushing yards in that first half and 238 receiving yards. So they're kind of hitting that Storm defense in multiple angles, passing, rushing, RPOs, whatever the case was. And Lake Erie just, unfortunately, offensively just struggled to get anything going. They had a couple of times where they had good field position, but they're only able to muster up 4 first downs in that first half. They had a total of 5 rushing yards and 22 receiving yards. And the Bulldogs will start out the second half with the ball and this commanding 42-6 lead. The ball rolled into the end zone, so it will be taken out to the 25. And Bauer still on at quarterback. He keeps it, flips it here to number 22. That was a minimal gain there. Brady Rose was the runner there. He was immediately chased down and tackled by number 17, Chris Payne. Once again, I mentioned in the first half, Payne exited momentarily in that first quarter with what looked to be a leg injury, but now he is back out there, and good to see him chase down Rose there for the very minimal 1-yard gain. Bauer flips one, and a little too tall for his intended target there. That was Zach Earn. Earn had a couple of catches in that first half. He had 2 catches for 43 yards. That's good for second on the team. Tay Boyd leads the team in receptions with 2 of his own, but he has 65 yards, which, again, leads the team, and 2 touchdowns. So 4 receivers split out wide. Earn goes in motion. Bauer can't find anybody. Steps up in the pocket. Sidearms one and almost completed to Tay Boyd. I'm surprised Boyd wasn't able to bring that one in. I don't know if he was expecting that kind of side-armed throw there by Bauer. So how about that? Out of the halftime, Ferris State goes 3 and out. And that felt like a rare occurrence in that first half especially. Ferris State had 16 first half first downs. The kick is away, and it is received there right about the 23, and getting thrown down and tackled was number 23, Curtis Thomas. And I believe that was on the stop, Nolan Ziegler. But we do have a flag on the play. It was a hold, I believe, on Lake Erie. So a good tackle, and now Lake Erie is deep in their own territory at the 15-yard line. So back out on offense is Clark. Clark was just 6 of 20 in that first half, had 2 interceptions. Mosley on 11 attempts had 12 yards rushing. Means Fluellen, towards the end of the first half, started to see a couple carries. He is, I believe, in there next to Brady Clark. Fake to him, and a quick pass there, that time to the receiver. We'll see who it is. I believe it's Johnson on the far side. That is, it's number 3, Keyshawn Johnson, the senior. Played at Brush High School right down the road, and he went to Notre Dame College before NDC had closed its doors. So second down, Clark hands it off. This time Means Fluellen able to work his way upfield, and I think he got past the marker for the first down. He did. So a fresh set of downs for the Storm. Good little run there by Means Fluellen. Just kind of nice and patient and found a little bit of a gap and was able to take advantage and move the chains. So the first down for Lake Erie of this second half. The ball is right at about the 27-yard line. Clark once again in shotgun. Fakes the handoff. Had a clean pocket for a moment. Escapes. Rolls to his left. Has some space. And he is chased out of bounds there. Chasing him out was Jarek Fields. And once again, the Storm put together back-to-back first downs. That's not something we saw much in that first half. I know it's a little cliche, but in this second half, down 42-6, it's good to see you build momentum and get back-to-back first downs, which was impossible, it felt like, to get offensively in that first half. Clark this time hands it off, and he has a crease. Means Fluellen crosses midfield and is brought down from behind. That is Damari Jenkins on the stop there, but Means Fluellen has had a couple of really good runs here. You can kind of see why the coaching staff of Lake Erie has kept him around and has kept him involved, I should say, as he's really just a kind of a fluid, solid runner. And why not keep feeding him again to the left? That time, though, he is taken down aggressively by number 82 of the Bulldogs. That was a short gain there, about a gain of a yard or so. Leading Ferris State defensively is Johnson. He has 5 total tackles. Kramer with 4. Hughes with 3 of his own. Davis has 3. And we have a whistle, and I believe it was a false start. So back the Storm up 5. Once again, 42-6. Bulldogs lead as we are closing in on 11 minutes to go in this third quarter. Storm with their first possession of the second half. Have a couple first downs, find themselves right around midfield. Ali Lee Jr. in motion, comes across the formation. Clark with a dot. That time it is complete to Devin Morgan, and that's exactly what you want to see from Clark. Just nice, cool, calm, collected in the pocket. And it's also good to see him in a clean pocket. I know he's been sacked a good handful amount of times today. Now Means Fluellen gets the rush, takes it past the 28. And it's nice, too, to see the Storm just kind of mixed up passing and rushing. It feels like just because they weren't able to get anything going in that first half, they weren't able to mix things up effectively. But since they have up to 3 first downs now in this possession, they're mixing it up pretty effectively, and Devin Morgan was on the end of that receiving completion, and Means Fluellen with the carry there.
Ryan Herndon on the stop.
So 42-6, the Storm driving, arguably putting together their best offensive possession up to this point. 3 receivers split out wide. Morgan once again in motion. Clark drops back. This time has a little bit of time. That is a quick pass over to Keyshawn Johnson, and he is spun down and taken down right around the 30.
Clark's pass to Keyshawn Johnson is complete.
And that will put the Storm right up at about the 26. It is 4th down, however. But the Storm are going for it. 4th and about maybe a yard. Clark is flanked by Means Fluellen. Fourth down, Clark hands off, means Fluellen, and that should move the chains for a first down, as it will.
Julian Means Fluellen, the ball carrier for a Lake Erie Storm. First down.
So another first down for Lake Erie. Possession is taking a lot of time off the clock as well. Clark, back to pass, floats it, and that is complete that time by Johnson. Boy, you had a defender closing in really quickly. That was Damari Jenkins. It almost looked like if Clark didn't put as much air on it as he did, that could have been an easy pick six, walk-in pick six for Jenkins, but gain of about 6, which makes it a second down and about 4 for the Storm. And the Storm find themselves in the red zone. This means Fluellen runs into a pile and gets about maybe 3 to 4 yards. Zach Kelly in on the stop. That does bring up 3rd and 1. So as a gain of about roughly 3 for means Fluellen. Clark once again hands off to means Fluellen. It looks like he has it. It's going to be close, but I think he got it. He did. So the chains will move again. So the ball is now at the 13. So slow, methodical, and they're moving the ball. They're going to cut into this 42-6 deficit. Morgan to the left side of the formation. Clark has it, gives to Morgan, and Morgan is hit hard that time. That pass is incomplete. Never had possession of it, but Damari Jenkins bringing the boom there. 6 foot, 180 pounds. Morgan felt all of that as he was trying to haul in that ball. .640 to go in this third quarter. It was all Ferris State in that first half. They had 28 points in the second quarter, 14 in the first. Looking, Clark is flushed to his right, and that one is thrown out of bounds as he was being closed upon quickly that time by Stanley Lambert. But it looked like Clark was caught off guard by Lambert's closing speed there.
Brady Clark's pass was incomplete.
So that'll make it third down. So now a third and long. Let's see how the Storm handle this. Back-to-back incompletions lead to this third down and 10. Here's Clark. Clark once again is pressured. This time he is able to escape out of it, and that ball is batted out of bounds. Clark just had nowhere to go, and heads up awareness there by the defender. Zach Kelly with the good anticipation, just able to get his hand up there and swat it away. And so I'll bring a fourth down after 3 straight incompletions. On the kick is Enrique Olmos. It's about a 30-yarder, I think. Holding is Josh Takatz. Hold is down, kick is up, and the kick is off the post and no good. Just been that kind of day for the Storm. Just have a really good methodical drive that doesn't result in any points. So now the Bulldogs will take over with 6:22 to go in this third quarter, and they have a commanding 42-6 lead. It's so frustrating if you're Lake Erie and head coach David Price. You see your team put together a sustained drive, get within the red zone, and then it ends with 3 straight incompletions and then a kick that hits off the right upright. So here's the quarterback Bauer, and Bauer dangerously throws that one. The intended target was intended for Cam Underwood, and right there, DeJuan Harris, if that ball had a little bit more air under it, Harris could have had an interception of his own there. So that last drive for the Storm, like I said, they sustained. And here's a run up the middle that is by Bauer. That goes for a minimal gain. Bauer, rushing-wise, in that first half, he had 84 yards. So he averaged about 7 yards per carry. Jalen Joyce, the player on the stop. So that brings up third down here. Let's see if the Storm defense can get back-to-back 3-and-outs and shut down Ferris State's offense a little bit in this third quarter. Bowker, quick pass. That is caught on the far side and trying to hurdle his way to the first down. He is short. Is Cam Underwood. I think that's Cam Underwood over there. Yep, it is to Cam. But it is short. Mitchell with a good stop there. Boy, Brian Mitchell, he's impressed me in this game. Like I said, I need to see. He's a true freshman. I see a couple guys step up in that secondary, and I feel like Mitchell, granted the score isn't where anyone on the Storm want it to be, but as here's a fake direct snap as it is stopped, and that was a direct snap to one of the guys in the formation. I believe that was number 14, Stanley Lambert, the defensive lineman, and he was trying to run it up the middle, and the Storm able to penetrate just enough and make that stop. So how about that, a fake, and now Lake Erie will take over. 1st and 10, right at about the 26 of Ferris State. Clark started to get a little bit going, but he's 10 of 27. He has 53 yards. Morgan leads the Storm in receptions, or I should say in yards. He has 3 receptions for 26 yards. Here's Clark. Drops back, and he's got to watch out behind him, and the ball is out, and it is recovered there by number 92, Cam Post. So Post jumps on it. I did not see who sacked him there. But Post recovers it. And it will be 1st and 10. Boy, the Ferris State defense has just been all over Clark in this game. 5th time he is sacked. And they forced the fumble there, and the Bulldogs have the ball right back. Bauer flips it, and he tries to get it to the running back, Kevell Cooper. And that was lucky for Bauer and Cooper. That ball just rolled out of bounds. So as I mentioned, Bauer is a 6'2", 200-pound redshirt freshman from Corunna, Michigan. He has done a good job of keeping the, other than that fumble he had, keeping the Ferris State offense moving pretty well and staying on his feet to get about 9 yards was number 9, Cam Underwood. They're definitely involving Underwood more. Harris in on the stop for Lake Erie. That is Harris's 3rd tackle. So clock is running inside 4 minutes now. It says a Gulker pass, and that is taken down as that was Jeremiah Lee on the reception. He was taken down by Anthony Anderson.
Gulker's pass to Lee was complete. Javon Davidson on the stop for the Storm. 1st and 10, Ferris State.
So a fresh set of downs. 1st and 10 for Ferris State. Here is a carry end around type play by number 0. That was once again Jeremiah Lee. And Lee getting involved here for Ferris State.
Javon Davidson on the stop for the Storm brings up 2nd down and 4 for Ferris State.
So 2nd down and 4, gain of about 5 or 6. Score still stands 42-6. It has been slow going compared to the first couple quarters in this 3rd quarter. No team has scored yet in this 3rd quarter, and catching it midfield and getting past the 1st down markers was Cam Underwood.
Gulker's pass to Underwood was complete.
So the chains move and a fresh set of downs. That is Thompson Green on the stop. That is the 18th first down here today for Ferris State. As the clock ticks inside 2 minutes to go in this 3rd quarter. Wyatt Bauer hands it off as the Storm were able to get penetration. And if Bauer kept that, that could have been a big play for the Lake Erie defense, but instead it goes to Jeremiah Lee once again, and Lee cuts his way past the 45 to the 40, and that is where the 2nd down will happen. Gulker throws it deep, and that is incomplete. Far sideline. It was hard to see, but good coverage there. As on the coverage was Debonair Brown. And mentioned earlier, Brown has really done a good job here today. 42-6. So it is a 3rd down. And here's a run play that goes, I think, past the 1st down sticks as they are approaching the 35-yard line. And it should be a 1st down. It is for Ferris State. So you're inside now a minute to go in this 3rd quarter. It's been a slow-paced 3rd as Bauer on the keeper. He crosses the 20 inside the 10, dives forward inside the 5-yard line. Boy, he is quick, and that most likely put him over 100 yards rushing. He had, as I mentioned earlier at halftime, he had about 84 rushing yards. And so it will be a 1st and goal for the Bulldogs here, right at the 2-yard line, and on the keeper, and the touchdown is ran in. I believe that is Chase Carter on the keeper, and he runs it in to extend the Ferris State lead to 48-6. So electrifying run by Bauer leads to a Chase Carter QB keeper, and they extend the lead to 49-6 with 18 seconds to go in this third quarter. We'll step aside for our first break in the second half on the on the FloCollege Network.
In NCAA Division II, community engagement is an initiative at all 25 national championships because student athletes want to give back while competing for a national title. Over the course of the year, Division II student athletes have an opportunity to leave a lasting impression in local communities throughout the country. Whether Division II student athletes are volunteering at hospitals, schools, after-school care programs, foster homes, or retirement villages, they make a difference in the lives of others. In Division II, we rise to the opportunity and make community engagement ours.
Welcome back to FloCollege. Brian Papish on the call with you. The Bulldogs able to execute a drive and score. The ball is kicked away here. Ali Lee Jr. on the receiving end, and he is brought down right about the 25. So that was a 10-play, 71-yard touchdown drive. Took 4 minutes, 30 seconds off the clock. It started at the in Lake Erie College territory. In their own territory at the 3. And it took the Bulldogs 10 plays and 71 yards to find the end zone. So it is a 49-6 ball game. 11 seconds to go in this third quarter. Clark on the pitch play, and that doesn't go anywhere. Loss of a couple yards, and that is how the third quarter will end. So we'll have the fourth quarter for you guys coming up in a few minutes. 49-6 means Fluellen was the ball carrier there, by the way. The final 15 minutes of this game are coming up on FloCollege.
In NCAA Division II, community engagement is an initiative at all 25 national championships because student athletes want to give back while competing for a national title. Over the course of the year, Division II student athletes have an opportunity to leave a lasting impression in local communities throughout the country. Whether Division II student athletes are volunteering at hospitals, schools, after-school care programs, foster homes, or retirement villages, they make a difference in the lives of others. In Division II, we rise to the opportunity and make community engagement ours.
Welcome back. Starting the fourth quarter, 49-6. As that pass is immediately caught that time by Keyshawn Johnson. In a quarterback now is Rentai Martin. Martin's the graduate 6-foot quarterback from Youngstown, Ohio.
Martin's pass to Johnson was complete.
So last season, exactly a year from tomorrow, actually, these two teams met. That final score was 56-3. But then you look at the Bulldogs' next two games following the win against Lake Erie last season, as we have whistles and a penalty, a false start. So then they beat Ashland 43-3. And then if those two games weren't enough for you, how about September 28th, they beat American International. That score was 84-7. The Bulldogs put up 84 points, and you can argue that that was obviously the most impressive win of their 14-game win streak last season. In case you're just tuning in, I mentioned last year the Bulldogs lost last year to Pittsburgh State, but then they went on to win 14 straight and the D2 championship as well. Martin cuts his way upfield, and that little cut might have got him at least close to the first down. So, assuming his day is done, talking about Brady Clark, assuming his day is done, he had a final stat line of 10 completions, went 10 of 27, had 2 interceptions and 53 yards. So in comes Martin in this fourth quarter. And it is fourth down and very short. Morgan in motion. Martin hands it off, and I don't think he got there. That was swallowed up that time by Stanley Lambert. Boy, Lambert's just been all over the backfield. It means Fluellen was the ball carrier. So the Bulldogs will take over. Another thing I mentioned earlier is next week the Storm will be right back at home against Wheeling. Hopefully that'll be a little bit easier of a task. That game is September 13th at 4 p.m. right here at Jack Britt Memorial Stadium. And after that, after the Wheeling game, they have 2 more home games. So like I said earlier, 4 home games to open up the season. And you talk about a test right out of the gate. This was for sure a test by the Bulldogs, obviously coming off of what they did last year. Is on the carry there was Chase Carter. Carter had the QB keeper that went for the run, touchdown run, I should say.
Chase Carter, the ball carrier. Davison on the stop for the
Javon Davis, the freshman from Middletown, Ohio, able to chase him down. Carter has thrown a couple passes. He had a touchdown pass and has gone 2 for 3. This is his 4th pass that is complete, and it gets out to the speedster down the sideline, tiptoeing inside the 10, and they mark him. They mark him right at the 10-yard line. That was Deion Small. Small, you can see what he can do when he gets just a little bit of breathing room. Just kind of glides through the air and was accelerating rapidly there. So first down now. Carter finds in the corner of the end zone, and down at the 1-yard line was number 1, Deion Small.
Small is complete. Bring up 2nd and goal at the 1.
So to bring up 2nd and goal right at the 1-yard line. In the backfield is Jake Price. So Carter, 4 for 5, 59 yards. And he gets it here. He will try and run it in, and he does for his 2nd rushing touchdown of the day.
For the Ferris State touchdown.
He joins Hearn as the player that has the 2 rushing touchdowns on the day, and that extends the lead to 55-6 with a chance to make it a 50-point lead with this extra point here by the kicker, Eddie Jewett. Jewett's kick is up, and it is good. So the Storm find themselves down 50. 11 minutes to play in this game. We will be back on FloCollege.
In NCAA Division II, community engagement is an initiative at all 25 national championships because student athletes want to give back while competing for a national title. Over the course of the year, Division II student athletes have an opportunity to leave a lasting impression in local communities throughout the country. Whether Division II student athletes are volunteering at hospitals, schools, after-school care programs, foster homes, or retirement villages, they make a difference in the lives of others. In Division II, we rise to the opportunity and make community engagement ours.
(56-6) is the commanding Ferris State lead. And so Ferris State will move to 2-0 on the season. They will play host to Tiffin next week. That kick is away, and it goes out of bounds, so that will give the Storm good field position, and there's a Ferris State player down right at about the 19-yard line. And we will step aside as that player is being tended to. 11:04 to go. The Storm will have the ball when we come back on FloCollege.
In NCAA Division II, community engagement is an initiative at all 25 national championships because student athletes want to give back while competing for a national title. Over the course of the year, Division II student athletes have an opportunity to leave a lasting impression in local communities throughout the country. Whether Division II student athletes are volunteering at hospitals, schools, after-school care programs, foster homes, or retirement villages, they make a difference in the lives of others. In Division II, we rise to the opportunity and make community engagement ours.
Storm take over. That was either Damari Jenkins or Tyron Mason. It was number 13 that was down. He walked off with the trainers, and that pass is incomplete there. So once again, 56-6 is the score.
Martin's pass intended for Johnson is incomplete. Brings up a 2nd down and 10.
So 2nd and 10 here for Martin. Martin fakes the handoff, and means Falone goes up the middle. So Means Falone was tackled there, brought down by Sawyer Tenhalf. So Martin has had his stops at different places. In 2 years, he was at Mount Union in 2020 and 2021. In 22, he attended Erie Community College. He appeared in 4 games, threw for 571 yards and 2 touchdowns. And then in 2023, he attended Langston, appeared in 9 games. He threw for 954 yards there, and he also had 11 touchdowns. Against Texas Wesleyan, that pass to Ali Lee Jr. was complete, by the way, but it is 4th down. He had 307 yards and 3 touchdowns against Texas Wesleyan back in November of 23. Kick is away there. That is out of bounds right about the 22-yard line for Batone. And so Ferris State will take the field here again. .22 first downs for Ferris State. And we'll see them take over here. Been a lot of fumbles in this game, too. The Bulldogs have fumbled 4 times, have recovered 2 of them, and the Storm have fumbled once. So first down here. Rolling to his right, this is Carter. Carter throws it behind his intended target, which was number 21.
Carter's pass intended for Symes is incomplete.
Kevin Symes.
Brings up 2nd and 10.
So 2nd and 10. Carter will be in shotgun again. Symes in motion. Symes now gets it. He gets the first down, and he is ducking out of bounds right about the 30-yard line. As we are approaching the 9-minute mark here in this 4th quarter.
Carter's pass to Symes is complete.
Ferris State just impressive all around. They have over 230 rushing yards and are closing in on 300 receiving yards as a team. Or 285 passing yards, I should say. Carter finds his receiver Small. Small just trying to make something happen, and he is upended and taken down hard there by Jalen Joyce.
Carter's pass to Small was complete. Jalen Joyce in on the stop. Brings up 2nd down and 11.
Small leads the team in receptions with 4. And down the sideline, getting shoved out of bounds there, is the speedy Cavell Cooper. Finishing my point, Small leads the team in receptions. And there's a couple guys like Neely, Hearn, and Boyd with 2 receptions each. But it just feels like that they've really spread the ball out well to each of their receivers, and like I've been saying all game, they're just kind of creative offensively and use their guys in many different ways. A lot of guys run the ball, a lot of guys catch the ball. You see just 3 guys alone have thrown the ball at least 4 times in this game. Granted, the score is 56-6, but it just goes to show you the versatility that this coaching staff of Ferris State has to work with.
Zach Rice in on the stop for the Storm.
7.5 minutes to play. 1st and 10, Ferris State. They are right at their 38-yard line. Trying to work their way into Storm territory. We have a whistle and a false start on the Bulldogs, so back them up a little bit. Storm looking to improve off of their 2-9 season last year. I mentioned earlier the exciting 28-27 victory over Post in the home opener. Carter hands it off. Cooper. Gets a minimal gain there. .24 first downs for the Bulldogs. On the stop there for the Storm was number 44, Javon Davis. He has a couple tackles here today. Carter downfield, nobody's home. There are 4 green jerseys and 2 receivers in the area for Carter to work with, but Symes was down there, as well as, I believe that is Underwood down there. Or actually Townsend. Townsend was down there, but point is there were 2 receivers down there and pass was incomplete. So Carter is 6 for 9. He drops back. Can't find anything. He works his way upfield, crosses the first down marker, and he is into Storm territory with that impressive scramble. And that will move the chains. Anderson with the leg tackle there. So Chase Carter's the sophomore from Orlando, Florida. He gets it to Jeremiah Lee there.
Jeremiah Lee, the ball carrier. There are flags on the play.
There are flags down, though. Carter didn't play last game. He's getting plenty of opportunities here today. In 2024-25, Carter did play in 10 games. He had 9 completions on 16 attempts for 146 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. That was a penalty on Ferris State, so that'll back them back up to the 41. Carter hands the ball off here, and finding a crease was number 24, and that is, I believe that is Jake Price. So Price able to work his way upfield. Third down here for the Bulldogs. All in all, though, it is good to see the Storm back out onto the field. Still obviously plenty to work on, but Carter on the flip here, and he is shoved out of bounds, as that was number 16, Mumpfield, I believe that was. As we have a player down on the field for Lake Erie. And so he will be looked at, and we will step aside. 4:53 to go in this fourth quarter, 56-6. It will be third down for Ferris State. When we
In NCAA Division II, community engagement is an initiative at all 25 national championships because student athletes want to give back while competing for a national title. Over the course of the year, Division II student athletes have an opportunity to leave a lasting impression in local communities throughout the country. Whether Division II student athletes are volunteering at hospitals, schools, after-school care programs, foster homes, or retirement villages, they make a difference in the lives of others. In Division II, we rise to the opportunity and make community engagement ours.
Welcome back as Carter rolls to his left, and he is trying to work his way to the first down, and he might have gotten it there. The injured player for Lake Erie before that play was Zach Rice. He walked off slowly, but under his own power. And I think Carter did get the first down. So 4 receivers split out wide, and we have a whistle, and there's a stoppage here, and after a couple adjustments on the sideline, we are back under action as we are approaching the 4-minute mark in this fourth quarter. Carter is still the quarterback, and a run up the middle, as that was number 24, Jake Price, on the run there.
Price, the ball carrier. Jalen Joyce in on the stop. That's enough for a
Joyce among the
Ferris State.
Storm in on the stop. That is good enough for a first down. So first set of downs here for Ferris State. And once again, getting the ball there is Price. And Price gets about 5. And on the tackle there for Lake Erie was Idoma. Idoma is a freshman from Germantown, Maryland. Carter getting pressured. He just throws that one out of bounds. So as I mentioned earlier, we will be right back here next week.
That'll bring up a third down.
Third down for Ferris State. Next week, Wheeling will come to town. That's a 4 p.m. kickoff, so a little bit later in the day. Of course, plenty of things to clean up and plenty of things to work on for head coach David Price and this Lake Erie team. And a quick flip is complete there, and storming his way inside the 20 is Cooper. Boy, you can just see Cooper is just like lightning quick. If you didn't see the flip, you would have no idea he'd even have the ball. He was moving so fast. So now the Bulldogs are inside the red zone at about the 14. Here's a keeper by Carter. He is wrapped up there by number 34, Jemison. Idoma has another tackle there. Here's a run by Cooper. Cooper gets spun down and inside the 2-yard line. And we have the 2-minute timeout. 56-6 is the score. We will wrap this one up after this on FloCollege.
In NCAA Division II, community engagement is an initiative at all 25 national championships because student athletes want to give back while competing for a national title. Over the course of the year, Division II student athletes have an opportunity to leave a lasting impression in local communities throughout the country. Whether Division II student athletes are volunteering at hospitals, schools, after-school care programs, foster homes, or retirement villages, they make a difference in the lives of others. In Division II, we rise to the opportunity and make community engagement ours.
Bulldogs inside the 5-yard line. We just hit the 2-minute mark of the fourth quarter. 4 receivers are split out wide. Cavell Cooper, the tailback. And it is a keeper, and into the end zone for his 3rd touchdown is Chase Carter. So Carter gets his 3rd rushing touchdown, and that extends the lead 62-6. And on for the PAT looks to be Eddie Jewett. So Jewett's been pretty solid here today. Looking to knock another one through, and he does. So the PAT is up and good, and it is a 63-6 ball game. And so the Storm will take over, and taking over the game at quarterback was Martin. We'll see if he comes back out there for the final minute 57. But Martin is 2 for 3. He has 13 yards rushing. But just a tough game overall for the starting quarterback, Brady Clark. Clark just couldn't get anything. He was sacked 5 times. He had a fumble. It'd be interesting to see how he does next week when the offensive line hopefully can make some adjustments. And it would be nice to see him in kind of just a cleaner pocket and able to work with more time and everything. And also, I don't want to put the offensive blame on one thing. So that's not what I'm trying. I'm just saying overall the receivers as well and the quarterback Clark, they just couldn't connect throughout the game. So a combination of Clark not having the time and the receivers and Clark just not having great chemistry to start definitely led to obviously some tough offensive possessions. But still plenty early in the season, plenty to clean up, plenty to work on, and plenty of hopefully winnable games to look forward to for this Lake Erie team. So the ball rolled into the end zone and will come out to the 25.
The kick goes for a touchback. It'll be 1st and 10 Lake Erie from their own 25-yard line.
So both teams break out of the huddle. Martin's still out there for another series. Martin has 3 receivers split out. This is a run here, and getting stuffed, not being able to go anywhere is Travis Boston Jr. He is seeing his first action.
Travis Boston Jr., the ball carrier.
And he was met immediately by that
Michael Bush in on the stop for Ferris State.
Front by Ferris State, notably Michael Bush. So that was a loss of 2, 2nd down and 12. Minute and a half to go in this game. Once again, 3 receivers split out for Martin. Martin hands it off and working his way to the 35 goes Boston Jr. Boston Jr. is a 5'9" senior from Detroit, Michigan. Hughes able to tackle him there, and we are inside 50 seconds now in this game. It is 3rd down and about 6. Man in motion. Martin hands off. Here is Boston Jr. again. And Travis Boston Jr. with his 3rd carry. Unfortunately not able to get a first down there. So we'll see if the Storm run another play, or with 10 seconds they'll be just content to let the clock run out, and it looks like that is what they will do. So a final score here today in Paynesville, 63-6. The Ferris State Bulldogs take care of business, and they move to 2-0 on the season. For Lake Erie College, they will be back home next weekend against Wheeling. The kickoff is set for 4 p.m. But for all of us at Lake Erie College, I am Brian Papish. The Storm fall to 0-1 and will be back home next weekend. Until then, have a great rest of your day and good night, everybody.
For the best coverage